Before you take another breath, let me drop a truth that will shatter everything you thought you knew. The nation you've been taught to worship, the so-called land of the free, is nothing but a carefully crafted illusion. An empire built on the very same lies that plagued Babylon centuries ago. This is not just history repeating itself. This is a warning that, if ignored, will cost us everything. Why has this been hidden for so long? Why does no one dare speak the truth about the shadows that stretch from our so-called shining city on a hill? What lies beneath the surface of this country that claims to be a beacon of hope, yet secretly stands as a monument to greed, corruption, and a deep, unrepentant thirst for power? In this video, you will uncover the reality that's been swept under the rug. You will witness the parallels between the United States and the ancient empire of Babylon, its rise, its fall, and the inevitable destruction brought by pride and oppression. You will learn how the cycle of tyranny, cloaked under the banner of liberty, has quietly trapped us all in its grip. Brace yourself, because what you're about to hear will change the way you see the world forever. This is not just history. It's a prophetic warning for our time. As we journey together into the depths of what has been hidden, you'll realize why this is not just a story. It's a call to action. Are we doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past? Or can we break free from the chains of deception? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think is truly going on behind the curtain of this nation? Is it time to wake up? Or will we let history bury us once again? Subscribe now and join the movement to uncover the truth. The United States, the modern-day Babylon. In the Bible, Babylon stood as a symbol of everything that could go wrong with human ambition, greed, cruelty, and an intoxicating thirst for power. It was a civilization that rose to greatness, only to fall because of its overwhelming pride and corruption. It's hard to imagine that the same cycle could be happening today, right under our noses. But the undeniable truth is that the United States mirrors Babylon's rise, and we're seeing its downfall unfold before us. When you look around, what do you see? A nation draped in the garments of freedom, prosperity, and opportunity, holding itself up as the beacon of hope for the world. But is this the reality, or is it just a gilded mask, hiding a much darker truth? Beneath the surface of this great nation, there lies a system built on oppression, greed, and a constant craving for power, just like Babylon. Take the story of the immigrants who came to America seeking a better life. They arrived on the shores of the promised land, filled with hope, only to realize they were trapped in a web of broken promises. The very freedoms they sought were often denied, replaced by the harshness of inequality, exploitation, and corruption. The American dream, once a shining beacon, had become a nightmare of disillusionment for countless souls who sought justice, only to be met with the cold reality of a system rigged against them. But this isn't just about the immigrants, it's about all of us. We are all living in a modern-day Babylon, caught in the web of false promises. This is not a new phenomenon. It's been happening for centuries. The question is, what will we do about it? Will we continue to live in denial, or will we confront the truth that has been hidden for so long? The fall of the great empire, from Lucifer's pride to America's downfall. In the Bible, Lucifer's fall was the result of his pride and his belief that he could surpass the Almighty. In his arrogance, he sought to rise above his station, only to be cast down in disgrace. This same pride is evident in the United States today. Just as Lucifer once believed he could wield power beyond his means, so too does the United States, wielding immense power with little regard for the consequences. The US has long considered itself the leader of the free world, a nation destined to spread democracy and freedom across the globe. But in its pursuit of power, it has become a nation that forces its will upon others, disregarding the sovereignty of nations and the well-being of people. Wars are waged, resources are exploited, and the lives of innocent civilians are shattered, all in the name of American greatness. But history has shown us that no empire, no matter how powerful, can sustain itself forever. Look at the rise and fall of Babylon, Rome, and countless other empires throughout history. They all succumbed to the same fatal flaw: pride. And now we see the same pattern unfolding once again, as the United States continues to abuse its power, treating the world and its people as mere pawns in a grand, destructive game. The question is not if this empire will fall, it's when. Just as Lucifer was cast down from his high place, so too will this nation face the consequences of its arrogance. But there is hope. Just as redemption was possible for Lucifer, there is still time for us to turn away from the path of destruction and seek a path of righteousness. The healing path, turning from the path of Babylon to righteousness. But what does this path to redemption look like? How can we break free from the grip of Babylon, both as a nation and as individuals? The answer lies in a return to the principles that once made this nation great: justice, mercy, and humility. The Bible speaks of the need for humility, for all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. It's time for us to recognize that true greatness doesn't come from power, wealth, or dominance. It comes from love, compassion, and the willingness to serve others. The power to change, to heal, lies within each of us. But it requires that we turn away from the path of Babylon and embrace the principles that Jesus taught: peace, love, and selflessness. As a nation, we can no longer afford to pretend that our actions don't have consequences. The world is watching, and the time has come for us to live up to the ideals we claim to uphold. But it starts with each one of us. It starts with recognizing the truth, no matter how painful it may be, and taking responsibility for our actions. In the end, the story of America is not just a story of triumph and glory. It is also a warning. A warning that we must not follow the path of Babylon, a path of pride, greed, and destruction. We must choose the path of humility, of service, of love. The time to act is now. We cannot afford to wait until the fall is inevitable. Let us take responsibility for our part in this grand story, and let us choose a different path, a path of healing, of redemption, and of righteousness. For in the end, it is not our power that will save us, but our humility and our willingness to serve others. The choice is ours. The system of Babylon, America's global influence and control. It's not just a coincidence that the United States has become the world's most powerful nation, with its influence spanning across every corner of the globe. But what if I told you that the way America exerts this power is not through the lens of liberty or freedom, but through a system that mirrors the oppression of Babylon? The truth is, America's global strategy, wrapped in the guise of democracy and security, operates much like the ancient empire, through force, manipulation, and deceit. The ancient Babylonians ruled with an iron fist, imposing their will upon others, exploiting their power to control the masses and maintain a hold over other nations. Sound familiar? America's global influence, through its military might, economic power, and political control, is eerily similar to the methods employed by Babylon. The US has waged wars under the banner of freedom, but these wars have often been fought to expand its influence, secure resources, and maintain its dominance. From the Middle East to Central America, America's reach has been vast and unforgiving. Countries that resist the influence of the US are often subjected to economic sanctions, military intervention, and political destabilization. It's a system of control designed to manipulate and dominate, just like Babylon did centuries ago. But how do we, the people, fit into this? We're told that these actions are for our protection, for the greater good. But in reality, the price is paid by those who are oppressed and by the very soul of our nation. The world sees America as the shining city on a hill, but behind that facade lies a system that's built on exploitation, greed, and manipulation. This is the Babylonian system at work, and if we're not careful, we may find ourselves complicit in its actions. The truth is, the power America holds today has come at a great cost. The exploitation of the world's resources, the manipulation of weaker nations, and the constant pursuit of control have led to a fractured world. It's easy to ignore these truths when we're comfortable, when we have the luxury of living in a nation that offers us opportunities. But what happens when we look beyond our borders and see the destruction left in the wake of this empire's quest for dominance? As long as America continues down this path of control and manipulation, it will inevitably face the same downfall as Babylon. The question is, will we, as individuals and as a nation, wake up to this truth before it's too late? The illusion of freedom, America's mask of justice. America has long held itself as the epitome of freedom, justice, and equality, the land where all dreams can come true. But beneath this shining veneer lies a far darker reality. The nation that claims to be the defender of liberty has, for centuries, been complicit in systems of injustice, inequality, and exploitation. Like Babylon, America wears the mask of virtue while hiding its true nature behind closed doors. Take a moment to reflect on the reality that millions of Americans face daily. The fight for racial equality, the ongoing struggles for economic justice, and the exploitation of marginalized communities are all part of a larger narrative, one that we've been blind to for far too long. America claims to stand for equality, but in practice, it has created systems that keep certain people at the bottom, fighting for a seat at the table that was never meant for them. This is the illusion of freedom. It's the idea that anyone can achieve the American dream as long as they work hard enough. But the truth is, this dream is only accessible to a select few. For many, the dream is nothing more than a hollow promise, a carrot dangled in front of them, just out of reach. And while the privileged live in luxury, those on the margins are left to fend for themselves, caught in a web of systemic injustice and inequality. America's legal system, too, is built on this illusion. While it claims to uphold justice, it often serves the interests of the wealthy and powerful, leaving the poor and marginalized to suffer. The same system that promises protection and fairness is the one that disproportionately imprisons people of color, upholds the interests of corporations, and denies basic rights to those who need them most. This is the mask of justice, the one that hides the rot within. And much like Babylon, this illusion of freedom and justice will not last. History has shown us time and time again that when a society becomes built on deception, greed, and oppression, it will eventually crumble. The question now is, will we, as individuals and as a nation, remove the mask and confront the truth before it's too late? It's time for a reckoning. It's time to take a hard look at the systems that have been put in place. Systems that keep us enslaved to the very ideals that were meant to set us free. The time has come to cast aside the illusion of freedom and justice and to build a nation that is truly just, one that upholds the values it claims to hold dear for all people, not just a select few. This journey toward healing starts with us. It starts with acknowledging the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. And it begins with each of us taking responsibility for our role in perpetuating these systems. Only then can we hope to create a world where justice and equality are not just ideals, but realities for all. The path forward. embracing change, embracing righteousness. As the echoes of the past reverberate through our present, it's clear that the path we're currently on is one that leads to destruction. History has shown us time and time again that empires, no matter how mighty, will fall when they forget the foundations of justice, humility, and righteousness. The question isn't whether the United States, or any empire for that matter, will collapse. It's when, and what will we do before it's too late? It is time to wake up, to look at the world and see it for what it truly is. The systems of power, the manipulation, the suppression, the suffering that has been hidden under the guise of greatness. But with this awakening comes a choice. Will we continue down the path that Babylon once walked, or will we choose a different route? Will we embrace the principles of truth, humility, and compassion, or will we remain enslaved by the systems that have kept us in chains? Now is the time for change. Now is the time for healing. This moment calls for action, not just from the leaders of nations, but from each and every one of us. Change starts in the heart. It begins with recognizing that true power comes not from control or domination, but from love, service, and the courage to do what is right, even when it's not popular. This is the essence of true greatness, the greatness that transcends the temporary glory of empires and instead focuses on eternal truths. Imagine, for a moment, a world where we no longer allow systems of oppression to govern our lives. Imagine a world where justice is not a commodity to be bought and sold, but a truth that every person lives by, regardless of their status or power. Imagine a world where compassion, not control, is the driving force behind every decision. This world is possible, but it starts with us. It starts with each of us taking responsibility for the role we play in perpetuating these systems. The road ahead will not be easy. The forces of greed, pride, and power will fight to maintain control, and the systems that have been in place for centuries will not be dismantled without resistance. But we have a choice. We have the power to choose a different way, a path that leads to healing, justice, and true freedom. A path where the light of truth shines through the darkness, and where love and humility become the foundation of everything we do. We are not powerless. The very fact that we can see the truth, that we can recognize the systems of Babylon for what they are, is proof that we can change them. It starts with each of us, as individuals, acknowledging the lies that have shaped our world and making the decision to turn away from them. It starts with each of us choosing to live in a way that reflects the true values of justice, love, and compassion. As we step forward, we must remember the lessons of the past. We must remember that no empire, no matter how mighty, lasts forever if it is built on the foundation of pride and greed. And we must remember that true greatness is found not in the power we hold over others, but in the way we serve, love, and uplift those around us. It is time to stop waiting for someone else to make the change. It's time to step up and take responsibility. We can no longer afford to be passive participants in the systems that are slowly destroying the world around us. We must choose to be active agents of change, individuals who embody the values of justice, humility, and love, and who work to create a world that reflects these principles. The choice is ours, and the time is now. Will we continue to live in the shadow of Babylon, or will we choose to walk in the light of righteousness? The path forward is clear, but it's up to each of us to take that first step. We are the change we seek. As we reach the end of this journey, it's time to reflect on everything we've discovered together, the truths, the revelations, and the profound lessons that have come from peeling back the layers of the world we live in, exposing the hidden systems of power, manipulation, and control. And yet, in this darkness, there's a light that shines brighter than ever before, a light of hope, redemption, and the undeniable power of change. We've learned that the path we're on, much like the empires of old, is one built on greed, pride, and deception. The grand illusions that have been painted for us are starting to crack. The empire we've trusted, the system we've believed in, is beginning to show its true face. But in this moment, we must ask ourselves, will we stand in the shadows of what has been, or will we rise to embrace the light of what can be? The power to change, to reshape the world around us, lies within each of us. It's in the choices we make every day, in the way we live our lives, and in the strength we find when we stand together for what is right. It's not enough to simply see the truth. We must act on it. And while the world may seem broken, there is always hope for healing. That healing begins within us and spreads outward, like a ripple on the surface of still water. We must remember that true greatness is not about the power we hold over others, but the power we give to them. True greatness is in our capacity to love, to serve, to be humble. It's not about being the loudest voice or the most dominant force. It's about being the quiet strength that uplifts those around us, that inspires others to find their own path to greatness. There are forces in this world that want to keep us divided, to keep us focused on the differences between us. But in truth, we are all part of a greater whole, and our strength lies in unity. When we come together with purpose, with love in our hearts, there is nothing that can stop us. We can heal the wounds of the past, mend the brokenness, and create a future that reflects the true values we were meant to live by. As we move forward, we must remain vigilant. The path ahead will not be easy, and the forces of darkness will fight to hold on to their power. But we cannot be afraid of the struggle. We must embrace it, knowing that with every challenge we face, we become stronger, wiser, and more united in our purpose. The power to change the world is in our hands, and it begins with each of us choosing to live with integrity, with compassion, and with a relentless commitment to truth. If this video has touched your heart, if it has inspired you to reflect on your own life, to seek change and healing, then I ask for your support, your energy, your love, your belief in this message. Every bit of it fuels the work I do. If you feel that this video has brought you value, or if it's helped you see the light in the midst of darkness, I invite you to show your support. It's not about donations or material contributions. It's about the shared energy between us all, the collective desire for change. Every comment, every like, every share. These are the small yet invaluable acts that make a difference. Remember, every choice you make has the power to shape the world around you. Your voice matters. Your actions matter. Together we can rise above the lies and deception that have plagued us for far too long. We can be the change that the world so desperately needs. So, take that step. Stand tall, walk with integrity, and know that you are part of something much bigger than yourself. May your heart be filled with peace, and may you walk this path of truth and love every single day. Thank you, from the very depth of my heart, for being part of this journey.